Hello, my friends. Let me just make sure I'm actually live. And I want to get the comments up and running. For those of you who are here, I'm so excited to see you. Hang on, there's a button. Okay. So welcome. Come on in. I am Amy Scott. For those of you who are here, I'd love to help you chat. Let me just say comments in chat. Yeah. Okay. I thought I could put it in a different spot. That's all right. Not a problem. I'm just going to go with that. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad to see you. I'm really excited to dive into today's topic, which is 3 simple steps to help stop nighttime eating. For those of you who are having this issue, I know I definitely struggled with this for very much of my journey and my weight loss journey. I know I'm looking off camera a little bit, but I'm just wanting to try to figure out how I can get this so I can see if people are commenting. So let me know if you can hear me. If you can't, if you're around, I'd love to, just let me know. Okay. So I have some great content for you today that will be really, really helpful as you are in your middle of your weight loss journey. Very often when we talk about stopping nighttime eating, that is one of those things we think it's just impossible. Like that basically I can't even imagine not eating at night. So before we dive into that, and I'm going to share my 3 simple steps towards the end of our talk, I want to start with a couple things. Number one, I want to introduce myself and let you know a little bit about my story. Then we're going to talk about the kind of the background, the underneath, the undergirding, that I can give you all the tips and tricks, but unless we learn how to talk to ourselves a little better, that's not going to matter, right? We have to really work on our mindset. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit, and then I promise I will dive into those 3 steps that you can jot down. So grab some paper, grab some pencil, grab a pencil. I will drop that information in at the end. Afterwards, I can do like a little description. So I will put my notes in there, the 3 steps in there, so you'll have them for you. But so in case you're not out and about and not near paper. All right. So before I begin, I want to share a little bit about myself. I'm Amy from Amy's Got Life Coaching. I'm a life coach. I coach women over 50. I'm a weight loss coach for women over 50. I help them lose weight. I myself lost about 80 pounds. I've kept it off for the last 5 years, and I lost a majority of that weight after the age of 55. So in addition to having Hashimoto's, thyroid disease, as well as being postmenopausal. So a lot of us use that as a reason not to be able to lose weight. But I'm here to tell you it is actually possible, and not not as hard as everyone makes it out to believe. So one of my tools that I love is stopping my nighttime eating. So I'm happy to share them with you. This is a process that I basically started probably maybe 4 years ago, and have not looked back. So it's one of the things that sort of, I definitely helped get that scale moving. So first I want to kind of talk about and define how I define nighttime eating. So I define it by basically any food after your last meal of the day. So for some of you, you may also be eating in the middle of the night. That's not what I'm talking about necessarily for this talk. I did do that for years. Basically, this is one of those things that you wake up in the middle of the night, you think, oh, if I just have a little bowl of cereal, I'll be able to get back to sleep, and instead of self-soothing or something like that. That's actually faux hunger, and that is something I talked about in my Waiting for Hunger video. So I will link to that as well afterwards. But what I'm talking about is if the rule of thumb is we're waiting till we're actually physically hungry before we eat, then very often we have our last meal of the day. So what I'm referring to is that time after our last meal, after dinner, let's just say, and before bed, when we notice that we're snacking mindlessly at the end of the day and we're not physically hungry. So that's what we're going to talk about. So why this matters is because we find ourselves that very often at that time of day, we're wanting to unwind. We're just basically wanting to relax. We're realizing we've been looking forward to just kind of chilling with our loved ones at the end of the day. And we end up noticing that we just think, I just want to relax, and relaxing means food. That somehow we have made that connection. Instead of just enjoying a show and spending time with our partner or family. So for me, I noticed each day what I was doing was telling myself, if I can just make it through the day, if I can just get through this horrible day, I'm going to find relief with some food, face down in ice cream. Usually it was ice cream, almost always ice cream. And our family, let me just say, if you're a Road, that was my maiden name, if you're a Road, you're an ice cream eater. Like, that's just how it worked. And when I moved here to Bartow, we live right up the road from Longacres, the best ice cream in the world. Let me just say, so good. So I have had my share of my nighttime eats, enough to last me a lifetime, actually. So I wanted to start off by just noticing how you are talking to yourself throughout the day. The truth is, our nighttime eating problem actually starts in the morning. So for me, I noticed that each day I'd be telling myself, like, if I can make it through the day, I start off in the beginning of the day with like a pretty wide bandwidth of like, I know today's going to be amazing. I'm going to make amazing plans. I'm going to always only eat when I'm physically hungry. I'm going to stop when I've had enough. I'm going to say all the right things and do all the right things. And then as the day goes on and I fall short of that idealized version of who I want to be, who I think I should be, then I fall face down into a big vat of ice cream. And instead of just noticing, wait a minute, I am human, I'm going to have human reactions, and I'm going to fall short of that, so that by nighttime I'm replaying all these things and just wanting to avoid feeling that guilt and shame. And that's when I'm like diving into to escape myself, to escape those feelings. So once I realized that that's what I was doing, then I was able to get to the bottom of why I was choosing to eat at night. So with the help of a life coach, I was able to unwind that a little bit and also learn to talk to myself a little more kindly throughout the day. So setting myself up, one of the very, very first things I do is set myself up with doable goals instead of this crazy perfectionistic ideal of who I think I should be, and comparing myself to others, comparing myself to this like idealized version of whoever that person is. That was like probably one of the biggest steps that has helped me, and including these other like very tangible steps that I'm going to be sharing. So though the steps I've created are very simple, but if you don't understand what's driving it, it's not going to be helpful with your nighttime snacking. So here we go. So this is the kind of things that we work on inside my one-on-one coaching program. That basically we take a look from the data from the day before from a place of love and not judgment. We evaluate, we anticipate obstacles, and we level up a little at a time until you reach your desired result, whatever that is. So here are my 3 simple steps. Ready? Buckle up. All right, number 1, decide what time of day you want to close the kitchen. Basically, make a decision. Just make a decision, decide it, and then don't look back. So what I tell all my clients to do, and what I did myself, was start realistically. If you're eating at 10, if you're eating at 11, if you're eating at midnight, maybe not, go all the way to 5 o'clock. Like, I'm going to close the kitchen at 5, and I'm never going to have a problem. Maybe start very realistically and just move it back a little, like 15 minutes at a time. So for me, I started probably at 10 o'clock and made it like 9:30 was my do or die. Like, I'm not going to eat after 9:30. Then it was 9. Then it was whatever. Now I have landed that I have a time that I like. And basically what I've come to the conclusion is I don't eat anything after my final meal of the day. So anywhere between 6 to 8 o'clock, I stop my food for the day. And for me, my do or die number is 8 o'clock. I do not eat anything after 8 o'clock, no matter what. So this helps in so many ways. it just takes away all that drama, all that negotiation. So I remember in the past, I would be like, well, but am I physically hungry? I mean, it is 10 and I am a little hungry. And I would kind of wheedle that in. And I noticed that it wasn't helping in my weight loss. My weight loss results were not happening. So I just came to the conclusion, like, you know what? Maybe I could just not eat after I eat and be a little bit hungry at night. And you know what? My favorite thought of the day, my favorite thought of the year, hunger is not an emergency. If you're watching this live, if you're watching the replay and you are wanting to lose some weight, chances are hunger is not an emergency for you. I'm not talking about a physical issue. I'm talking about an emotional issue. Most likely, if you've had enough food for the day, if you've had your meals, you are not physically hungry, and a little bit of hunger is fine. You can dine in on whatever your fat stores are for the day. That's the beauty of the human body. We can just eat off of what we have already consumed. So there's that. Um, Also, I actually love going to bed a little bit hungry. It feels better in my body. How many of you have gone to sleep with a very full stomach and you feel uncomfortable or gassy or bloated or irpy? Yes, that's a word, irpy. I just know that when I've overdone it, I don't actually have a great sleep. It feels very uncomfortable in my body. So that's number one. Decide. Just make a decision and don't look back. Number two, remind yourself why this is important to you. So one thing that we do in my coaching process is to figure out your whys, why you want to lose weight in the first place. You don't have to lose weight, but what are your whys? What are your compelling reasons? So this right now is an opportunity to take a look at those compelling reasons, to take a deep dive, to remember, oh, this is right. I do really love this instant hit of pleasure, this instant hit of relief, but there is something else I want more. So what we do in my coaching program process is we talk about that, and very often we're looking for that instant hit of pleasure instead of our overall joy. I will be linking to, I have a wonderful video on our compelling reasons exercise, which I do with my clients. I did it for myself. I still look back on it. It has been a super helpful tool to help me to maintain and continue in my weight loss journey. So there's that. I just noticed someone in the comments, Debbie is here. Hey, I'm glad you could make it. Thank you for your time. I so appreciate you being here. Okay, so continuing on with diving into your why, also noticing that when you start eliminating your nighttime eating, you will be maybe seeing some things come up for you. So this is a really wonderful opportunity to ask yourself, what else is it that you want for your life? Just noticing when you're changing, you're going to change a habit. So asking yourself why is a chance for you to explore what's coming up for you when you take food out of the equation. So very often we just don't think about it. It's a habit. We do it all the time. And we don't take the time to explore what else it is that we want and what are our deeper whys. So, and that leads to the third step, which is expect excuses. Just expect them. Whenever we change a habit and we don't expect excuses, then we're setting yourself up for a for sure fall, right? So for those of us who've been habitual eaters at nighttime for many years, was me. It's basically simply your brain's way of protecting yourself. Your habit brain is going, something is wrong with me. I don't want to feel anything. I want to numb out in front of the TV with a big bowl of whatever, popcorn, ice cream, fill in the blank. And our executive function is just gone. Our prefrontal cortex, which provides that but what else do we want? But what else is true? What else is, all that is just gone, right? It's a habit. It's an ingrained habit. So expect it to feel a little wonky and a little uncomfortable at first. Expect those excuses. And so what I love to do is when the excuses come, and they will, maybe I am hungry. Maybe I do need to actually eat. Maybe if I don't eat this cookie, my husband and my son will eat it, and then there won't be any cookies. That's my favorite one. I use that one. I can't even tell you how many times, which is mortally embarrassing to me because who wants to steal food from their children or their husband who's very deserving, right? That was me. That was my excuse. I'm like, if I don't eat this, if I finish it, then they can't have it. It's mine, 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 right? Instead of using my prefrontal cortex and going, okay, Amy, if the food should be gone, and this is what we do, we anticipate obstacles. So I'm using this as an example of this is the excuse. If I don't eat it and someone else gets it, it won't be there. And we feel that like we have scarcity and oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So what I do in the morning as I'm doing my journaling, I anticipate, okay, in the evening I'm going to want to eat this cookie. What can I tell myself if my husband or my son eat the food and it's not there? So number one, I can tell myself, this is what I think to myself in the morning and try to plan. I have car keys. I have a car. I can gas in my car. I can go get a cookie if I want one. Number two, I could put something aside and save it for another time. And just sort of like realizing it's not an emergency, that scarcity, that feeling of wanting to have the food, of course we do. The other piece that comes along for that with the ride with that one was judgment, because I definitely judged myself for like stealing food from my child, and then I felt guilty about it, and then I would eat more because I felt guilty. It's like a vicious cycle, right? So it's okay. Expect the chatter, but be ready with your how to overcome that, and also be ready with your why. Be ready with that other step that I just talked about. Just remember that your brain has made a wrong conclusion. I know I've heard people compare this to smoking. So a lot of times people say, I just need a cigarette to relax. Well, what 5-year-old needs a cigarette to relax? Somehow the brain made a connection with relaxing and smoking, right? For me, it was relaxing and food. And I couldn't relax unless I had some food. Really what I was looking for was a relief from my own brain, my relief from the crappy way I was talking to myself. And it was just simply not true that food brings relief, that food brings comfort. It's not true. So those are my 3 steps. And for your viewing pleasure, I have a bonus step. One other step that has been super helpful for me is to change your environment. So for those of us who are nighttime eaters, typically we have the same habit and we sit in the same spot and we do the same things. And when we see that, it's an environmental cue, and all of a sudden we'll be like, oh, I'm hungry. It's time to eat. Or our brain doesn't even think that. It doesn't even, it's like so immediate. You're like, yep, time to eat. And so when you change your environment, you might be able to do that as a little hack to change our brain. Our brains love novelty, right? We love change. That's why we love buying stuff online. It's like, ooh, something new. Even if it's like a boring thing like a spoon or something, we just love a little novelty. And here's an example of that. So have you ever noticed that you get like artwork and you don't notice it after a while, or you put a Post-it note up and think, I love, this is a statement. I want to remember this statement. This is amazing. And then after a while, it's like becomes white noise. You don't even notice the Post-it anymore. That's because our brains love to be jarred out of that novelty, and we might forget unless we see this as something different. So when you have that, when you move to a different location, you are creating that novelty, which is a little bit of a dopamine hit, which is that feel-good hormone that helps you to be like, oh, that's right, we're trying something new. How exciting. And it just is enough of a pattern interrupt to stop your habit brain from doing what it usually does, which is consume vast quantities of food without thinking. So the other one is a visual cue that, again, there's an environmental cue and then there's a visual cue. So for some of this might be really silly, but make a sign that just says the kitchen is closed. Remember, Amy, we're done. We're done for the day. The kitchen is closed. I'm not talking about for the rest of your family. I'm just talking about you, the one that has the weight loss journey, that is on their own weight loss journey. This is just for you. They get to do whatever they want. Your family, you get to do. You're doing this as a gift to you. It's a reminder to you. Kitchen is closed. We're not going to be going in there. Something happened this morning that made me think about that. That again, with that novelty idea, I have a a medical procedure coming up that I'm going to need to not use deodorant every day for like about a month in the morning, just in the morning. And so I know my habit brain is going to reach for that deodorant and put it on. So the last few days I've been like trying to remind myself, remember, you're not going to be, tomorrow's the first day. So tomorrow don't do this. And this morning I reached for the deodorant just like I always do without thinking. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to remember this tomorrow? So I put that deodorant on a different shelf. And I'll know when I see tomorrow when I open the medicine cabinet and the deodorant's on a different shelf. Oh, right, that's right. I'm not going to do that today. That's all we're talking about. It's just like a teeny little visual hack that reminds you, oh, because I want something more for my life. And most importantly, this is just comes with every talk I do, which is be kind to yourself. Remember that you're changing your habit because if you want more from your life. And when you slip up, and you will, because you forget, especially in the beginning, remember that babies don't walk right away until they've had some practice. Treat yourself with compassion always. Talk to yourself like you're your own best friend. Always approach from love, and you will be successful in what you're trying to do. So, does anyone have any questions? If anyone is still here, if you have any questions, just type them into the chat. I can see it. So, I'll be looking off camera, but I can see it. If that would be helpful. If you have any questions or concerns or anything that didn't make sense, let me know. When this goes up on YouTube, I'll be answering those on the comments under YouTube as well. Next month, so I'm going to be doing these lives once a month, the first Monday of every month. And I will be diving into how to handle the holidays, because guess what, folks? It's already October. Can you believe it? And that will be so for the next few weeks, I'm going to be posting on social about how to, since Halloween will be, since that next talk will be after Halloween, I'll be posting on social media about how to handle the holidays, Halloween, some of my tips that I use especially for Halloween coming up, and then basically from Halloween on till Christmas, till New Year's, we'll be dealing with some of those tips and hacks, and I'll be sending them to my email list. So for those of you who are not already signed up, you definitely are going to want to sign up for that, because I will be sharing some great information. In case you miss a post here and there, I will be definitely posting onto my email list with some great resources for you to be able to show up the way you want through the holidays. So until then, I will love to hear any comments that you have. Thank you so much, Debbie. I appreciate that. I will be, again, offering some descriptions in the comments. I'm also, for today, offering my daily planning and evaluation sheet. I'm going to put that in the link below. You can grab that. And let me just say, I know they have lots of thoughts about planning and evaluating, but let me just offer this one. This could be a girl's best friend. I love my planning sheet. I love it because it helps me to plan realistically, plan doably. Doably? Is that a word? I don't think so. Anyway, make doable plans, evaluate without judgment, and give me some leverage as to see where I'm going. It's just the best tool to help you lose all your weight for good. I use it every day. I use it my whole time during my weight loss journey, and still use it every single day today to help me with my maintenance. It's amazing. So I will be putting that link as well. And if you are interested in learning more about coaching, I would love to get you on my schedule to work, to just have a conversation about what it looks like to coach with me. I would love to, I'll put that in the calendar. You can instant message me or DM, or I guess it's Messenger here on Facebook. You can message me, send me a text if we're friends. You have my phone number. Go ahead or email, whatever works for you, whatever method works for you best. I do have a calendar that you can just sign up, and it's just a conversation. I'd love to chat with you about how I can help you along in your weight loss journey. So that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions, I'll have like a couple more minutes. I'll wait for a couple seconds. Thank you so much. I hope whether you're live or watching the replay, just know that under all of this is an opportunity for you to treat yourself really, really well and luxuriously, lush, Like, I love that word. That be thinking of lush thoughts for yourself, that you got this. I know you do. You got this. All right. Take care.